We are on an excursion, a boondoggle. I have this idea for roadside stands, a little bit different. You know how I am. I don't do things the way everyone else does it. So I know of a roadside stand for firewood, and I thought we could just go check it out, and maybe we can learn something, and I can share with you this idea I have. Here we go. I am out driving around and I saw this roadside stand. They're selling firewood, and you know, guys, I'm always into trying different things, trying to increase my business, improve our profitability. And I don't know, I've seen these things. I don't know if it would be right for the neighborhood that I live in, but I would still want to check it out because we're out here in the country, and you know, I see they got some empty slots. And if you come around onto this side here, I mean, what the heck? I'm assuming that they paid for it, but you've sold something. 20, 40, let's see, 20, 40, 60, and then however many bundles you can fit in there. So this would be set up on the honor system. They've put some effort into it. They built this out of pallets and painted it, did some nice lettering. They have a money box. Oh, and here's the name of the owner here. So whatever. Never heard of this guy, but I don't know. This is something we can look into. So I've just pulled off to the side of the road here, but I see someone coming down here now. Coincidence. And maybe we can talk to this guy and see what he's got going on. And I don't know, maybe get some ideas off of him. I don't know who he is, but let's see. Yeah, I've been thinking about one of these roadside stands. I don't know. I think I might be able to make it work, but I really need someone that can help me out with the plans on this, get an idea on what they think you can and can't do with it, and I don't know. We'll just see if we can find someone that can help me.
Hey, the sign says no soliciting.
Well, what do you know? What is the coincidence? I pull off to the side of the road to check out a roadside stand, and it's Adam from Hometown Acres.
Hey everybody, good to see you, Joe.
Nice to see you, Adam.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, no problem. This is, I gotta tell you what, my first reaction is you live in a very beautiful part of the world here.
Yeah, the whole part of our channel, Hometown Acres, is we moved from the city about 3 or 4 years ago out to the country, and it's just been a tremendous improvement of lifestyle.
Yeah, so you've given up your city lot. You probably had an electric lawnmower.
I did. I had an electric lawnmower. I could touch my neighbor's house from my house.
You could smell what your neighbors were cooking for dinner.
Absolutely.
I am looking up here. I see a big expanse of acreage. What do you own out here, Adam?
We have a total of 44 acres. About 15 is the field and the house and the pond that's up there. And then the back 30, you know, not quite the back 40, the back 30.
One day you will have a back 40,
Yeah.
all right? But until then, you'll have your back 30.
The back 30 is all wooded with ATV trails and stuff like that we like to get out and play on.
Way to go. We're out here in the country, but this is kind of a busier road, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, so I actually did a study. So we have 2 roadside stands. We're on not a busy road, but not a quiet road either. And anybody who watches our channel, they know neighbor Doug let us put up a second roadside stand over at his place. And when I first built the roadside stand at his place, I did an experiment to count cars over the course of 10 minutes. And I think here, over 10 minutes, we might have seen like 8 or 10 cars. Over at Doug's, it was like 180 cars or something like that. So,
wow. So do you see a difference in sales and volume between this stand and the one on the busier street?
Absolutely. So I wasn't sure how that was going to go because, you know, people here, this is a 35-mile-an-hour road, and even though that one's busier, it's a 55-mile-an-hour road, so people might be driving too fast to even see it. Mm-hmm. However, just because of the higher traffic, we do see a lot more sales out of that roadside stand. The other thing I will mention, when we first put it up, we didn't have any sales out of either of these stands for like 2 months. When you first put them up, it takes a while for people to realize that they're there. And then once they drive by it a couple times, they see that there's firewood for sale there, and then they've got to have a need for it. So, you know, a month or two later, they might have a campfire Friday night or something, And oh yeah, I remember seeing a roadside stand there, and then that's when they come back and buy. So if anybody's thinking about putting one of these up, don't be surprised if you don't get a sale for a month or two for a little while until people realize it's there.
All right. So Adam, that tells me, and I'm not an expert here, but maybe you've done some research, that maybe it's the same people that's buying out of this stand regularly, and maybe not as much as a large population of people. Do you have any idea on that?
I do. I think that a lot of the people are repeat customers. I know, you know, obviously I'm not sitting down here in a lawn chair collecting money. We've got our little pay box. It's pay by the honor system. We've had very little issues with theft, but I do know every once in a while I look down here and I see a car pull in, and typically I see the same cars over and over again.
What about theft? All right, you talk about the honor system, but I also think too, if something gets stolen, you know, no one likes a thief.
Right.
But it's not gonna technically really hurt you that much, right?
Yeah.
So maybe the risk is not as bad as what everyone wants it to think that it is.
So when I first put this up, that was a huge concern of mine. I didn't know how bad it was going to be, and honestly, in the last year that we've had this roadside stand up, I think we might have had one rack stolen, and then maybe what I see more often than anything is people will take a rack and then they might take one or two logs off of the rack next to it to supplement what they got. And so that's not really a big concern. I always said whenever we first put it up, if it turned into a big problem, I might think about putting up a trail camera or some security cameras, but it just hasn't been big enough of an issue to warrant that.
So it's not even a matter of you to worry about it.
No.
If there are people out there that are thinking of a roadside stand, the fact that they would be worried that a person would steal from it, you're saying that shouldn't be a reason to not do this.
No, I think if, let's say you build a roadside stand and you've got 8 racks here and somebody comes and cleans you all out and takes everything, well then you know you live in an area that maybe you just can't have an honor system roadside stand anywhere. Maybe you need to put up security cameras or something. But I think for the most part, people in the back of their minds when they pull up to something like this, they're wondering if there's cameras around. So I think, you know, just that conscience of most people, you know, we always say it's a few bad apples that ruin it for the whole bunch, but I think for the most part, generally people are honest.
All right. So how do people pay? I have seen some roadside stands where the people are tech savvy. They'll have a QR code or a Venmo path on here.
I had one on here, but I didn't have it laminated, and the weather and everything just tore it and I took it back off. We just have a pay box here, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, and I've never had, the other thing that people worry about is not only stealing the wood, but stealing the money out of here. And again, you know, if somebody really wanted to, they could get a pair of pliers, reach down in there and take the money out. I've never had a problem with somebody stealing the money.
You're saying that's all I need is a pair of pliers to take
or something to reach down in there and
Okay.
And if somebody really wanted to, you could take a crowbar and pop that off.
Yeah.
Which I'd be more mad about the pay box than them taking the actual money, because then I got to go replace that.
Is there any other ways that you can tell me how I can steal from one of these?
I don't know if I want to give you any more ideas, and I think I've said too much already.
How about this? You're out here in the country, but are there rules or laws or zoning that you have to have a permit to have something like this?
I don't think so. I mean, out in the country in the summertime, people set up sweet corn stands all the time. This is pretty common practice out here. Again, if you live in the city, you might have to worry about theft. You also might have to worry about zoning issues and things like that as well.
Okay. I'm looking at this. It looks really nice. You've put a lot of effort into it. It's painted. You got some nice lettering. It looks like it's made out of pallets.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, this was kind of a test for us. I didn't know if we were going to have problems with theft. If I got cleaned out the very first weekend, somebody took all 8 racks, I was just kind of going to scrap it. So I wanted to build it as cheap as possible to see how it was going to work out. And so yeah, this is entirely made out of pallets. I've got 2 on the bottom, and then I use pallet for dividers, and then just some metal tin roofing up here. And what's nice about the pallets is it allows airflow in between the racks of wood, so it can actually still continue to dry the firewood as it's being presented for sale.
Now, do you consider this a success?
I do. I think it is. It has proven the concept, and so now that we're past that test phase, I do think that I would like to revisit this roadside stand. We do have a sawmill, so at some point in the future, I would like to rebuild this and build kind of a firewood Taj Mahal to sell. Something that does. I mean, this looks nice. It's amazing what a coat of paint will do, but it is a pretty cheap, inexpensive way to put up a roadside stand. So I would like to build something a little nicer in the future.
Yeah. How much money would you say you have in the stand?
Well, I built this a year ago, and as we know, inflation has gone through the roof. So I want to say I probably had maybe 150 bucks in this between the roofing, screws. I did use treated stuff on the bottom for the platform that I built the pallets on. And even back last year, treated lumber was pretty expensive. So maybe 120, 150 bucks.
Yeah. And what would you say your cash flow is, Adam?
Between the two roadside stands, maybe $100 a week. We might sell 4 or 5 racks of wood out of here a week between the two of them, which, you know, that's $100 a week is $400 a month. That's a tractor payment. If anybody wants to get into buying a compact tractor to help them process wood faster, the wood will make your tractor payment.
And what would you say your level of activity is? How much time do you have to dedicate to this?
Well, that's another thing. With the tractor, it's very easy because we store all of our firewood in IBC totes. So whenever I need to come down here and restock it, I don't have any man handling the wood except for taking it from the basket in there. I carry it down with the tractor. I load these in the bed of the truck, take them over to Doug's roadside stand. In terms of activity, I don't restock it until we've got over half is empty of the roadside stand. So like right now, we're going to restock it today, and we've got 3 out of the 6 racks that are empty.
Are you saying that this is worth having? It's worth your time and effort?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it produces enough income to make a tractor payment, or if you don't have a tractor, I mean, we use that money for getting takeout for the wife and kids, you know, on Friday night or something. So. And
man, just imagine, Adam, if you had 2 daughters that could do this, you wouldn't even. You would have zero input and make your daughters do all the work.
Well, my plan is I've got a 2-year-old son, and I'd like this to be his first job, to teach him about money, work ethic.
Adam, you and me have known each other for about 2 years now.
Yep.
And you've been around me long enough to know that I do things differently. Right? And I see this, and I appreciate this, and I can see how this can absolutely work. What I try to do, Ohio Wood Burner, is not just have something that's a one-off. I see a business model in this, where it is not necessarily sitting at the end of your driveway. You know, if you do or if you don't have an appropriate driveway to put this on. I see this as a way to drive profits at multiple locations across the city.
Yeah.
Where you could have one of these set in the parking lot of a strip plaza.
Yeah.
Or a convenience store or a hardware store, where, you know, there could be an agreement made with the owner where you rent the space or they take a percentage of the weekly sales. And, you know, especially with electronic purchases, you know, yes, it's on the honor system. Yes, you can have stuff sold, but I could have a QR code or a Venmo path or something where a person can pay for it, and it is all documented digitally, and I could share it with the owner and have him or her, you know, see what their percentage would be each month. And it would cost them no labor on their end. None of their employees would have to do anything.
They don't even need somebody ringing up the register.
And if they look out and see that this is always empty and there's never anything in it, they can throw me off their land.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing. I am looking at roughly 30 pieces of firewood, and you're selling it for $20, and it's moving people. You know, he only has 3 slots of 8 left, right? So if you're selling 30 pieces for $20, that is how much, any minute now, Adam, that is how much a stick?
75 cents?
75?
Somewhere around there. That's
so you're
math.
selling a stick of firewood for 75 cents. I am digging that.
Yeah.
Right? I am digging that. I think of people that are selling cords of firewood for $150, you know?
Yeah.
And people complain you can't make money selling firewood. I agree with you. If you're selling it like that, man, 75 cents for a stick of firewood.
I really liked what you said in your last video, that 2 half cords of firewood is worth more than 1 full cord of firewood, and we kind of follow that same business model here.
And that follows all the way down the chain. You know, that's why a bundle of firewood, you know, costs $10.
Right.
And there's 128 1 cubic foot bundles in a cord of firewood.
Yeah.
So that's some serious money that we're talking about. I'm digging this. I'm just saying, I need to put and this is what gives me headaches, because it takes a lot of energy for me to think. But I see a business model with this, where I get away from residential delivery. Or this could be something where you do hire that person, you know, and their job is to
keep them
stocked. I can go out and do the sales and visit the accounts and get them to agree to one of these things. This is the entire universe of firewood that I'm looking at, guys. And people, when they think of firewood, you think of loading up a truck and taking it out to the customer. And I'm saying firewood is a commodity, and it is something that you can add value to. And this is absolutely value-added firewood. And this is a business model where you don't even have to sell to restaurants or bundles or residential delivery. You just do this.
It's almost like passive income.
Yes.
Especially when it's at the bottom of your driveway.
Mm-hmm. This is like being a landlord, you know, where you really don't do anything except cash your checks at the end of the month, right? You know? Adam, I have a long professional career as a retailer, and I apply retail principles to firewood, and I am looking at this now through the eyes of a retailer. And what I notice is this side is empty and the other side is full. And I'm just thinking, if I'm the customer, I've pulled in here, this is the easy stuff between here. Why don't you consider maybe turning it so that you got firewood on both sides?
I think that's a great idea.
And that could be a better way for the customers to, to buy their wood.
Let's go ahead and get the stand turned around.
All right, let's do it. All right, so what do you say? We get this stocked up?
Yeah, it needs it.
All right. Yeah, you want to keep these roadside stands stocked. So it's important we get down here and just, get all this wood put in here. Keeping the roadside stands stocked, crucial, guys.
So one thing that's also important with roadside stands, and as Joe talks about value-added firewood, is presentation. It's more important than anything. So as you can see, a lot of people who buy small quantities of firewood don't know a lot about firewood. They just expect to be able to pay for it and burn it. They don't know the difference between season. They don't know that gray weathered wood like this is going to burn better than nice, clean looking, fresh cut wood. But what I do is I take the ugly gray weathered wood that shows that it's seasoned, and I'll flip it around and have the nice clean side that's been stacked up against the pile there showing, just it makes the stack of firewood look a lot nicer.
Adam, all this talking, we're not getting the roadside stand stocked, so we don't want to be around here all day. All right, well, Adam, you have given me a bunch of ideas for this roadside stand idea. So I also think this is really cool. It works, it's simple, and you can maximize your cost per stick of firewood with this thing. And I think running this is simple. It's easy to load the wood into it. It looks great, and you're providing a service to customers.
Yeah, that's one thing that me and Doug always talk about is, yeah, we're making a little bit of money doing it, but really we're providing a service to the community so they don't have to go buy bundles from the local grocery store for $10 a bundle.
All right, so guys, if you are digging the roadside stand, give me a thumbs up, and I guess if you like Adam here too. Adam, I really enjoyed our time out here. You have a beautiful place, and I'm a huge fan of your channel.
Thank you very much.
So, and you've earned everything that you've gotten. All right.
Joe, thank you for coming out. Always a pleasure visiting with you.
It's great being out here, Adam. And I hope everyone has a great day.